Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well today. I'm feeling a bit today. Just checking that I am live in the right place. Yeah, there we go. Bit of a fuzzy head today, so this might be a bit of a shorter live than normal. By saying I might only end up doing one card. That isn't unusual, is it? Sometimes I only do one card. Anyway, depends how long things take. But yeah, I might end up just doing one card because my head, it's just niggling. I've taken some paracetamol in the hope that it'll cut it short, but I don't want it to turn into a migraine. So yeah, anyway, enough about that. I'm not going to waffle on because of the way I'm feeling. I'll talk about it as I'm crafting, but it's a new month, which means new kits are available, some adorable kits, and because it's October, it's the start of a fantastic new promotion, the starter kit promotion, where you get, I'm just checking my notes for right, I've got, normally you pay £99 and get £130 worth of product. Now, if you pay £99, you get £194 worth of product of your choice. Also, if that's stretching your budget a bit and you're on a tighter budget, for £35, you can have a starter kit and choose £130 worth of product. That's all I'm saying about that now. So if you're interested, drop me a message or pop over to my website, which is lisasloft.co.uk, and shop and Stampin Up, and that'll take you straight to it, and you can have a look at everything there. I haven't updated my actual website with all the information yet. Things have been a bit mad, but hey ho, it's all there for you to see, or just message me and I'll let you know what you want to know. Right, so we're using Petal Arrangements this week, and I love this stamp set. It was one of those that when the pre-order came, everyone was like, oh, I'm not sure, and I was like, no, I really like that. What did surprise me is that it's not one full stamp as such. Let's switch over our camera. So it comes like this, and I was like, it's a gorgeous background stamp, and I thought, I can use it and then just mask off bits that I want to use. But when it comes joined, but they are all separate pieces. So you can easily pop them back together to get a background stamp, or you can have it separate. So that's what we're using, and I love it. I just think it's gorgeous. I've shared a couple of examples of things I've made with it so far. One using it as a background stamp. Wasn't my favourite card, to be fair. I'll admit that. It didn't turn out as I envisaged, but I went with it. And then I love yesterday's card that was the blue with it as a border down the side. Love that. Right, so today I thought making life easy for myself because I'm not feeling all the best. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I know. It's a bit of but I think it's just the weather and the time of year. There's that many bugs going around. I've just got rid of a cold sore that I had for over 2 weeks. And yeah, I'm a bit snuffly, and yeah, my head just feels really heavy and not nice, but we'll carry on. So to make things easy on myself, I thought we'd use a template out of the catalogue. Now I'm on page 14 of the winter catalogue, or online if you haven't got an actual catalogue. We've got these templates, and I thought we'd have a go at something like this today. So we'll have our main focal point on a circle, and then 4 pieces I've decided to use designer series paper, on a card. So what I've done is I've pulled out some papers that have gone onto the last chance list now. The last chance list has been updated as well. That's something else. And I thought I'd pull out these. So I thought we could use some of it. I don't want to use the flowers as such because they won't go with our flowers that we've got. But I did think we could use these 4 pieces. So we've got 2 coloured patterns and 2 floral patterns. But I thought, you know, they'd look quite nice together. 4 of those. So let me bring in my trimmer. And I'm going to want to make it fit onto a standard card base. So my template would be our first layer, which is 10 centimetres by 14.9. So I'm going to cut these to fit. So I'm going to have a piece of this, which is 5.5 centimetres squared. So how are you, Michelle? I hope you're well. Hope you're all settled into the back to school and everything now. So we've got our first piece, which is a square. Then I'm going to go with the lemon gingham, and I want that at 4 centimetres by 5.5. And that should give me, if I've measured correctly, as I put it down to the edge, a nice 0.5 centimetre border in the middle as well. Right, this one I'm going to cut at, I think, 3 by 8.4. This one will be. Oh, I want to make sure I get plenty of the design. I'll turn it that way. I'll cut that at 3 by 8.4, which I know is a bit of an odd measurement, but it's so that we get it right for our piece. And then we'll have a green that is 6.5 by 8.4. How many sticks were those measurements? You're still laughing about that from yesterday's group. Well, I'm actually using centimetres. So it's 8 centimetres and 4 little sticks. Yesterday, I went to Wednesday group that Kat runs over at Creatively Minded. We have a little Wednesday group, Minded group. And I did an activity with everybody. And we made little albums out of envelopes. And I work in inches when I make albums and such. And some of them aren't used to inches, and I use a lot of like 5/8 or 3/8. And one of the measurements was 4 5/8, so it was 4.5 and 2 sticks, and that's everyone kept repeating 4.5 and 2 sticks. So yeah, it was quite funny. Right, Michelle says, get in there, the night's drawing in is actually helping with bedtime. Yeah, it does help, doesn't it? But not enjoying the bugs. Luke's had a chesty cough since he went. Oh, bless him. It's a bit of a neurovirus around here that's going about. I've got a few friends that have had it. Dell's been, he had a bit of a dodgy tummy, but he was mainly full of cold and that, yeah. Up to the point that I thought he might have some time off. He got quite fluey. Right, so we've got our pieces. So just for ease, I am going to glue them down onto this panel. Now, there is no need to do this. You could just put them straight onto a card base. But I will put them onto a panel. But it's always the way, isn't it? September, everyone becomes ill. The kids go back. Hayden's had a cold too. Because he's uni and he's picked up a cold from there. And I mean, me with my non-immune system anyway. I think I've done rather well to only have what I've got, considering like Dell's been so poorly. Oh yeah, shouldn't complain. Could be a lot worse. Just I'd rather be ill and just get it over and done with than something that's just lingering and you're just waiting for it to go full on whatever it's going to do. So there we have our panel. It's nice, quick and simple. So then this has got an actual circle on the layout. So I'm thinking, if I'm going to use a circle, what stamp shall I use? And I think I want to go for one of these smaller little, rather than the one flower, whatever they are. They look like artichokes, but obviously they're not artichokes. Yeah, get it done and out the way. Exactly. But these I don't know what these are, but they remind me very much of hydrangea kind of flower. So I want to go with one of them, but I think, see if I've got a circle in my stash of things. I have a nice little stash here of things that I've pre-cut, leftovers from bits. Could use a large circle. I mean, we don't have to use a circle. We could use another shape, but I think a circle would be nice. Let's have a look. That's a taller one. If we kind of had that, and then we can have a sentiment on there too. Let's go with that. And Hayden was having a stress this morning. He'd forgot to activate his free bus pass that he'd got. And I was like, don't worry, we'll sort it. And he was trying to do it, which he then ended up late getting ready. So it was like, Mom, I'm going to miss my bus. I was like, well, okay, I'll take you to Merry Hill. Don't mind that. I'm not taking you all the way. You can catch your second bus from Merry Hill. Right, so I'm just going to stamp this off because the image actually ends. So I don't want it to end on my stamped image. I'm going to go off the edge. Bring some grid paper so I don't do it on my desk. There we go. That's nice. That just fits on there nicely like that. And yeah, it's cut off there, but that's where the little holes are in the decoration. I don't know my words today. I think my brain has totally had it. Right, so we've just stamped that in Memento because I'm going to use blends to colour it in, which are our alcohol markers. Now, the colours in the paper are Old Olive, Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly. So let's grab those. and let's do some colouring. I'm going to start with Lemon Lolly and see how we end up. It might be a bit too light, but we'll see. I'll just put a bit of Lemon Lolly light down, and then we'll add in a bit of darker, and then we can add, see if light, Daffodil Delight. No, that's not dark enough, so we'll go with the dark, and that just add, there we go, that little bit of extra. So we've got our light Lemon Lolly, our dark Lemon Lolly that we do about 2/3 of the way up, and then a few of our dark Daffodil Delight to dark in the middle. Right, I am going to change how I'm doing this so that I can do it a bit quicker, and I'm going to put down my dark Daffodil Delight first. It's just so it's quicker. Then go over it with my light and blend that in, because I can do more than one petal at a time doing it this way. And then the dark Daffodil Delight on that. Hi Vic. There we go. So it's just a little bit of shading on those. Hope you're well. All right. Let's do the rest of these. Now where it's the back of a petal, I'm doing that all in the dark Lemon Lolly. Some of these are that small that you can't really see much of the shading, except for when you put the dark on of the dark Daffodil Delight. There we go. So considering I'm not feeling 100%, and I was like, oh, I want to make something simple for myself. Actually, doing colouring probably isn't the simplest. But never mind, it's fun, whether it's the simplest or not. A little bit of that. And as I've said many a times, my colouring isn't, or my shading isn't the best. I just tend to add a little bit of colour and just give the impression of a bit of light and dark, so that the shading to it, to give it a bit of dimension rather than just a flat. And it's surprising actually how by just adding a little bit of a darker tone, the difference it makes. I'll have all that quite dark because that's underneath. Oops. The card that I put out yesterday, that was the blues that I did with watercolour pencils. I did spend a little more time colouring that than normal, but I was enjoying it and I wanted to get those shades in there. So yeah, sometimes I will spend that little bit longer doing it. I don't spend too long, obviously, when I'm on a live, because how boring is it for you just to sit and watch me colouring? Though I must admit, I watch people and I do find it quite therapeutic. I enjoy it. Right, and these here are unopened flowers, so I'm doing those in the very dark. Right, we're done with our yellows. Now, oh no, I haven't, because we've got another bit. Dark daffodil delight. There, flower, unopened flowers. There we go. Right, wrong end. Our leaves, where there's already shading, I'm going to put in the dark. The artists do a lot of the work for us when they're designing the stamps. And then I'll just add light over that to blend it a little. You find it therapeutic, do you? Excellent. Oh, I am glad. The challenge of the day, add a touch of Vic, I'm struggling with a bad head. Adding blue. Can I add a bit of blue in here? I can add a bit of blue. I think. We'll see how it works. Right. Oh, and then I just want a bit of dark to do my stem on this little flower. There we go. Right. Blue. We will go with a little bit of, I think, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This stamp set, The Delightful Wishes, has these little bits here that mimic these little bits on that paper. So if I grab a block and by piercing that, oops, and I was thinking pool party maybe. Let's grab Balmy Blue. Let's grab pool party. And let's grab a scrap of paper. Right, let's make some room. And let me just see which I prefer. Is pool party allowed to be classed as a blue? I think I prefer the pool party. So are we classing pool party as a blue? Is that acceptable? Pool party is a blue. Excellent. There we go then. Right. Bring in my scrap because I want to stamp off. I don't want it too dark. I'm just going to randomly stamp that. And I'm not trying to be too perfect about it. That one's only stamped 2. It didn't stamp the full. And that's fine. There we go. Challenge completed. Right, I'm going to add that on there. And then we can have a sentiment. Oh, right. Add this on some dimensionals. Oh. I've been trying to get ready because we've entered a new Stampin' Up year. And I've been trying to get ready, planning things that I fancy doing. I don't want it in the centre. I want it off. Yeah, just getting myself organised. Making sure I've got everything in place for what I want to do. I've rejigged my social media. So you'll see, though I've said this before, you'll see some changes there. I keep rejigging it. Right, so we want a sentiment, and I'm going to use something out of here just to keep it nice and simple. And I think I'm just going to go with a nice happy birthday, because we always need birthday cards. Now this says you a happy birthday, so I'm going to only ink up the happy birthday. So let me grab a block, and I think we will go black because we've stamped our image in black, just to tie it in. Right, and I need my piercing mat again, don't I? And then just ink up a happy birthday, allow the rest to overhang, and I'll pop that in the middle because I'm not quite sure yet how big I want my sentiment. I wonder if, oops, I just dropped my dies on the floor. Stylish shapes and the narrower of the banners, but the longer, narrower one. I think might be a bit big, but that's okay because we can cut it down as I've done before. Sentiment in blue, you won't see it. Whole party's not strong enough, is it? Let's try it. I don't mind trying these things. Why am I singing? You can't see it through, so let's do it in Pool Party and see what it looks like. It's a real pleasure to challenge you in your projects, the cards. Thanks, Vic. It's nice to be challenged. It adds to the fun of creating. That doesn't stamp as nice. If you look, so it's a bit blotchy compared to the black. I've always had problems with that stamping. Blue, actually, okay, Vic, you're right. You're right, I'm wrong. It's not quite so heavy, is it? Right, let's cut this and we'll see if it's the right length or if we need to trim it down. You know, it doesn't. What about the blue paper and white embossing? I would also challenge you for even more blue. What about blue paper and white embossing, so that sentiment shine out from that card? Let's find a scrap of Pool Party. Where's a little scrap? Do you know, I've got a huge section of scrap of Pool Party because I've done that many albums in Pool Party, but none of them are particularly small. So on there, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Right. See, my brain's not working. I need to stop and think what I need. Versamark, embossing buddy, white embossing powder, piercing mat. See, let's have a look at what this looks like. Did I clean that? Nope. Right. There we go. Make sure that's dry. Ink it up. Same again, overhanging. So we just get the happy birthday. Okay. Right. Move those. White embossing powder. That's it. Right. I need to unplug my phone and plug in my heat tool and plug my phone. Oh no. I'll just leave my phone. I'll plug it back in a minute. I don't like having too many things plugged in. Okay, so ooh, burning my fingers. There we go. Right, unplug that. Plug the phone back in. Oh, there we go. Make sure that's dry before we die cut it, because otherwise it'll smudge if it's still hot and not dried properly. So let me try that for size. That might be okay actually. And get it in the centre. Centre always helps. Okay, let's go with this one. Okay. I like it. I don't do coloured sentiments. It's not my thing at all. But it works. Which is another reason why it's nice to have other demonstrators watching and other people and commenting and giving their ideas. Because I would never have done, you knew I'd love it, yeah. I would never have done that. I would never have put a Pool Party sentiment on there. It's just not me, the way I do craft. But yeah, it's what Vic would have done and he suggested it. And yeah, I do love it, Vic. Thank you very much. So maybe I will start and do some more coloured sentiments. Right, so we want some embellishments on here. Now, I am low on embellishments, I notice, and I have ordered some more. Those are the wrong colour. Oh, we've got, no, a bit muted, the yellow. Darling Duckling, no. I have some white matte dots, so that's some white up there. Oh, I have Lemon Lolly. Thank you, Michelle. What else have I got? I've got 2 packs of them. So we've got Lemon Lolly that we could use. Or we've got lots of white. Or we could go a little bit iridescent. I've got nothing in my last chance. A tint of ribbon behind. I could do some ribbon. Yes. In fact, what I have got is the ribbon, the Daffodil Delight ribbon. And that's still available on the last chance. Just pop it behind, or I could do a little bow. So it's going to be hard to lift it up now because it's all stuck. I could get a little bow under there. There we go. Little bow under there, and then I think we will go with the iridescent white pearls. Oops, that one's flown away. And we'll just stick these round about, mixed in with these little dots that we've got, like so. Yeah, I noticed the other week I was a bit short on embellishments. So I have ordered more. Like I say, I have done another order. My order's gone in today. With some new Christmassy stuff that I wanted. Right, card base. I think we're going to go white for a card base. And just keep the colours on the actual card. Though I tell you what I have done this morning. I watched an unboxing that Stampin' Up have put out. Videos of the advent calendar. Now I had decided I wasn't going to have it. Because I was like, how much am I going to use it in my business? I really wanted it for personal. I thought, you know, a crafty advent. I love an advent, and a crafty one's even better. But I decided against it. Well, you know, I've said it today, and I'm kind of thinking I might have to purchase. We'll do our inside, because the stuff that you get in it, I mean, we knew, really, didn't we, that it'd be excellent value. Because they always are. Okay, we'll turn that over, because I only wanted it a light stamp, but I wanted it a complete stamp. That's better. There's 2 small packs of dies that have about 7 dies in each. There's papers, there's glitter glue, there's embellishments, a couple of lots of embellishments, Yeah, there's die cut elements. It's fabulous. It really is. And I really like the patterns and the colours. I'll do a little bit of the blue inside. Don't know why I tapped it again there, but I did. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm not going to add any colour to that in the corner other than that blue that I've put round. Now, because I've turned my card over, my cutting edge is sticking up a bit. Because whenever you cut the card, you get an edge that's raised. And I always put them the other way. Well, because I messed up, it's now sticking up. So I'll just run my bone folder over that to flatten it. There we go. Gorgeous. Fabulous. Love that. Thanks, Vic, for your help. Much appreciated. Right, now I will do another, but I'm just going to do a real simple card. I was going to do exactly the same card, but in a different colourway. But I'm not sure I will today. We'll do another sheet of this paper. So I'm just going to have a background paper, just a little bit. I'll have that. And I'm going to trim that down and keep it at that, which is, what's that? That's just over 10. So I will cut it 10 by 10. Oof. Can throw them bits away. And I want let's have a lemon lolly, I think. I've got a lemon lolly scrap. Lemon lollies and to colour I use lots. But I have a scrap and it might be just big enough for a layer. 10 by 14.4. No, don't like that. That doesn't look right. Let's just go white layer. There we go. I'll just have a white layer, and then I just want one of these. We'll go smaller. And what shapes have I got pre-cut? Let's use up what we've got. Actually, that one will do just fine. And we'll stamp that. I'm just going to keep this very simple in the yellows. Yeah, I just want this one. Quick, simple card. Straight in the middle. And we'll colour this again the same. I'll just add in some dark shading bits where it's underneath. Because of how detailed the stamp is, it's harder because the bits are small to get much shading in, I find, because the actual stamp itself adds a lot of shade. So I tend to find it harder then So keeping it really simple works for me. I mean, it might be that these bits aren't supposed to be green in real life. The plant might all be the colour it is, or it might all be green. I don't know. I'm not a botanist. I know what plants are like. I'm not very good at looking after things too much. We'll go with the same colours again. I'm going to start at the bottom. Add about 4. Wrong end. There's certain plants that I do really well with. I can grow orchids, no problem. Now I know they're one of the harder ones to grow, supposedly, but I don't have any issue at all growing orchids. I have a couple of orchids on my kitchen windowsill and they thrive. I've had them many years. Though most of my plants tend to like my kitchen windowsill. I've got a mother-in-law's tongue. I don't know the real name for it, that I had off my mum, one that I'd brought her, and that's on there, and that's going mad. I also have a, what's the other one I've got on there? Oh, it was a Christmas basket arrangement with some sort of greenery and a planting that's pink. Continuously flowers if you keep deadhead in it. It was only from the co-op that I got my mum on the way to her house one year. And that has gone wild as well on there. So yeah, my kitchen windowsill is the place to grow plants in my house. It does get a lot of light. It gets afternoon sun. So whether it's down to that more than actually me, excuse me, tending to them. I water them every now and again. Well, I'm going to do that all in the dark because they're not open yet, and then all these edges because they're inside in the darker lemon lolly. There we go. That's pretty. Right, let's stick this on here. Like I said, this is a real quick, simple card that you can do just with a square of pretty paper. And we'll add dimensionals on here. Okay, I'm going to put that straight. Do I want some ribbon on here? I could add a big bow of ribbon on this one, or even a faux bow. Yep, that would look nice. Let's chop that. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. And there. Might as well tie a bow as do a faux one. do struggle with this thin ribbon. Find my fingers don't want to play. Now it'll probably end up that this is a bit of a odd bow, but it's okay, because we can sort it out. Like so. Yep. Right. The tape to hold that down. And we want it up a bit. In the middle, so we'll grab that to there. That'll make it look a little bit more like the bow's actually tied correctly. And I think I'm going to end up taking my middle. Yeah, let's take that off. Put that on there. And you can trim that down. It would have been better, I think, with that coming up there. If I can swap that round a bit. That's it. Doesn't look quite so uniformed. Card base. How about Daffodil Delight? Let's see. Yeah, I think we can put a Daffodil Delight on there. Or we could go a bit of a old olive. Oh, could put a tiny bit of old olive paper behind it on white. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm just going to neaten up this edge, because that edge is a bit of a mess where I've cut multiple pieces out of it. Right, so we'll have 10.2.5 by 14, would be 14.4, so 14.6.5. I do like white card bases. I have become a bit of a white person. As in, I like using white sentiments, white card bases. But this will just bring in that little bit of green to tie in our leaves. Scooch that over a little bit. There we go. And then we can have a white card base. I'll just cut one of those. 10.5 scored. And cut in half at 14.9. Have an A4 piece. And just lining that up. And we'll crease that. And then with it being on white, it'll help that old olive paper to pop a bit more. And you know, because I've been crafting, I've totally forgotten about my bad head. Right, again, it's just a very thin border all the way around that. And we're not having a sentiment on this one. I like to leave some clear so that I can add a sentiment when I wish. Sometimes I don't want a sentiment on. No, they're gold. I don't want gold. I don't think Lemon Lolly is going to be right on that one. I haven't got Old Olive. I wish I'd got another brass butterfly, but I haven't. I've only got two. I could just put one, I suppose. Don't make them too heavy. I'll just go white. Let's go white classic matte dots. Sometimes a bit of white is all you need. There we go. And those in there. And that's a very quick card. Right, let me get rid of some of this mess that I've created, and I will bring both cards in. Oh, and I've nearly used all. Oh, that's excellent. Excellent. I love it when we use stuff. So there we go. Two different cards using the same stamp set and bringing in some papers from a different suite. Bit of bright sunniness on what's a bit of a miserable day here. It's very dull. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with those. Tried something new. Did the challenge, got a bit of blue in there, and then added a blue sentiment, which, like I say, isn't my norm. Right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I do hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Michelle. I will be back this evening at 7:30, where we'll be using the same stamp set to create a scrapbook page. I hope you can join me then. If not, I hope to see you next week. And don't forget to check out my website and the Stampin' Up website for current offers and promotions. So thanks very much. See you soon. Bye.